You can't sell courses if you're still deceiving your audience. And that is where people are feeling like it's a scam.
This fitness influencer tried to use fake weights to fool everyone, but instead, he got brutally exposed.
$400,000. That is how much a Dallas influencer, Brittany Dawn, is being ordered to pay in a recent settlement.
So today we have a suggestion from one of you guys to take a look at the fitness industry and how much of a mess that has become. Lying and deceptive practices are riddled throughout the entire scene just to gain a little bit more of a following or to sell you some sort of supplement line, clothing brand, you name it. Now, I'm not going to lie, this has been happening for a while. I was really into the fitness scene probably around 10 years ago, and there was a whole bunch of drama even back then. But now in 2025, I think it's bigger than it ever has been before, with more social media platforms, more eyeballs on you, and more opportunities to make money from it. So we have a lot of examples to take a look at along with some of your comments from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But let's start off with a recent story.
If you have found yourself on the fitness side of TikTok, you're probably familiar with what's going on with this large creator, Janelle, who has 5 million followers here on TikTok and then more on other platforms. So this creator actually built her platform on weight loss. Specifically, when she first started, it was more keto-based diet, and then she moved into counting her macros. That is something that she's been sharing on her account since about 2020, 2021. She's been around for quite a while. Now, the viral videos that she had going back in like 2020, 2021 was she was the girl who was eating a bunch of peppers and putting like cream cheese and everything but the bagel seasoning. So you may remember her. She comes forward and makes this video where people are asking, are you on a GLP-1 medication? Which she then says, hey, a lot of people have been asking me this and I am ready to share. However, I'm not going to share here on TikTok. I'm actually going to send you over to one of my other platforms. You can watch it there. It's just a little too long. Now, I did hop over there, and what was interesting is it was only a 5-minute video. So then I start reading comments, and fans are saying it was a little interesting that she chose to share that information on another platform and not the platform that she grew to the largest fan base here on TikTok.
So there's a couple reasons that happened. First, she wanted to start to filter over a TikTok audience that isn't as profitable, at least in video form. The revenue comparing to YouTube videos, which is where she uploaded the 5-minute long, too long apparently, video, most likely to try to gain a little bit more of a YouTube audience. And the other thing is that she knew that a vast majority of the 5 million followers she got on TikTok won't go over to YouTube, and then they won't see that she admits to taking something for weight loss. Very sneaky way to technically admit your wrongdoing, but not actually showing it to your entire fan base. But it definitely gets worse.
Like I said, 5.2 million followers here on TikTok. She's a certified macro coach, and then she has her Macro 101 class. And this is actually where fans are the most upset. It's not about the medication. Nobody has judgment on what other people choose to do with their bodies. However, when you're selling a plan like this, you're essentially selling yourself and your progress to your fans. And they say, wow, she did that. That makes me feel like I can do that if I follow her plan. So how much is this plan? $200. For the past 11 months, she has been on a medication that has been helping her lose even more weight, and she has charged people $200 for these courses. You can't sell courses if you're still deceiving your audience, and that is where people are feeling like it's a scam. I'd like to think that if she just came forward 11 months ago and said, hey, so I am stalled. I have hit my peak on my weight loss and I am still seeking more. I am actually going to go on this medication to help get me to my finish line. I think a lot of people would have been very, very accepting of that.
I don't know if I fully agree with that last sentence, and I think is the exact reason why the original influencer with over 5 million subs did not do that, because especially with the popularity of Ozempic and all of those types of drugs in the news with celebrities taking in, losing a whole bunch of weight, in a lot of people's minds is just a cheat code when these types of influencers and fitness people are supposed to be the hardworking do-it-yourself, not taking drugs to lose weight. It all comes from your own work ethic, on top of charging $200 per person to tell them what to eat to lose weight. While you're not taking your own advice, you're taking a drug to lose that weight. I think overall, she knew that she was going to lose a ton of money, so she tried to deceive her audience and technically admit it, but have the fewest amount of people see. We can look at a couple of the comments. This is a new Brittany Dawn, so another fitness influencer who basically did the exact same thing. Another person talking about the actual YouTube video saying, I could have kept lying tells me all that I need to know. So she knew exactly what she was doing. I mean, 5 million followers. I can't can't imagine the amount of income that type of audience brings, especially when you have a $200 meal plan. It must be insane. Here we have another one just up on screen. Just found out my favorite fitness influencer had a BBL the whole time. That also is becoming increasingly more common. People taking shortcuts so they could look even better in leggings on the TikTok thumbnails or their Instagram page so they could gain a massive following and turn that audience into profit. We could take a look at some of the comments. I stopped watching Chloe Ting because she got one too. I had to look up who that was, but just another one of the copy and paste influencers that if you just see her body type, it looks off to begin with, but I guess it doesn't change the fact that so many people are still doing this. Here's another comment. Sky Sutton released it last year on TikTok and it's pinned on her account. So I also went to go look up that page with 3.1 million followers. So the previous clip had 5 million deceiving her fans while she was taking a weight loss drug, and this one's another influencer with 3 million who has gotten cosmetic surgery to make herself look better. Again, after she gained a massive following, that's when she decided to come clean and talk about her surgery, and she ended up making that 5-minute video that the first influencer put on YouTube on her original TikTok. However, TikTok is an app with a very short attention span. Even if you hold it down and do the 2x speed, a good portion of her video is just talking about the reasons why she did it without actually saying that she got a surgery, saying that she was insecure and she's so grateful for her following, blah, blah, blah. Knowing that most people would get bored because you swipe every 5 or 10 seconds. You're not there to sit through a 5-minute video that she will eventually say that she had surgery. Again, another way to admit what you've done, but have a majority of your audience have such a short attention span that they won't actually hear it. They're just going to go on to the next TikTok. All the trainers I've had always told me to stay away from influencer workouts because they don't even do them. I can't remember who it was. We went over it in an earlier video when TikTok was apparently dying, and then all of the influencers just came out and told their audience what they were lying about their own content. Another big fitness influencer admitted that she didn't even do her workout. She just recorded the little clips for each jump cut and that was it. Chances are if it's defying gravity to that level, it's been lifted. So many fitness influencers had work done and pretend it's from their workouts, unfortunately. This is the next version of Photoshop, which we'll get to in a little bit. That was a big issue. Again, when I was more into the fitness scene around a decade ago, it still does happen today though. Wait until you find out a lot of these fitness influencers and personal trainers have personal trainers of their own and just sell their plans. We're going to see something like that a little bit later in the video, don't you worry. But we'll go back to a little bit of the drama that I remember. Again, this still definitely does happen in 2025. I believe there's an entire Reddit page. It's Instagram Reality. There's probably many other ones that just show influencers and celebrities across the board photoshopping their pictures. This guy I personally remember a while ago, Devin Physique, where he was photoshopping his own pictures, making it look like he had a smaller waist, and then the company he was sponsored by posted the unedited photos over and over again. So he was just completely caught red-handed. I mean, almost like he wasn't even trying to hide it. And there are many, many pictures like this. And if I really wanted to gather all the examples, I bet I can make an entire video just showing you the same thing, where all the walls are warped, just very poor Photoshop. From fitness influencers trying to sell you supplements, workout plans, meal plans, their clothing line, or who they're sponsored by. I mean, anything. We have a comment from one of you guys. I actually faked my entire existence. I am a figment of your imagination. And as ridiculous as this sounds, we're getting kind of close when we're talking about social media and all of these types of celebrities or influencers, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, you know, that's like light as a feather.
Right,
but
right.
There's like that thing in our world to where, you know, you'll notice like an empty coffee cup and someone's just like, man, it looks fake. Or they pick up a big bag of like $10 million and they just carry it like nothing. Right. So we want some like actual weight in. So these 80s are like actually like 15s.
Really? Let me see. Oh, shit. Oh.
So you get a little bit of struggle. They're real popular with like the TikTok like fitness influencers.
Are you serious? Yeah. Everything's fake.
Nothing's real.
Everything's fake.
Can't trust anything on the
So this is what I have at home, to be honest. Oh.
So in the same way we saw in one of my previous videos, people faking wealth, there's whole companies in LA that you can rent out sets that look like private jets, all of the designer clothing, the cars, anything you could really think of. And you could do the exact same thing when it comes to weights, working out, making it look like you lift a whole ton and a lot stronger than you actually are. Some of the comments, Athlean X got exposed a few years back using fake weights. That's another huge personality, has been around forever in the fitness industry. industry. Real popular with the fitness influencers, everything's fake. One of the big stories that people weren't surprised about, it was just very odd because this guy was genuinely jacked. He was huge, but was still caught using fake weights to make it look like he was even stronger.
This fitness influencer tried to use fake weights to fool everyone, but instead, he got brutally exposed. Brad Castleberry was a fitness influencer who wanted to attract an audience by any means possible, so he started using fake weights. At first, he only used 1 or 2 fake plates to avoid suspicion, but over time, he added more and more. He was lifting mind-blowing weights, like curling 360 pounds for reps, squatting and deadlifting over 750 pounds, and bench pressing a staggering 660 pounds. With these incredible lifts, he could have broken several world records, and people started getting suspicious. If he was really that strong, why wasn't he breaking powerlifting records? He was even offered money to compete in powerlifting, but always turned it down, saying he didn't have enough time. After years of accusations, Brad recently decided to use real weights to prove the haters wrong, but it backfired. He could only deadlift 585 pounds, nowhere near his alleged 800-pound record. He also failed a 485-pound bench press, far below his claimed 660 pounds.
But even if we're talking about his lifts that were genuinely authentic, that is insane numbers for somebody in the fitness industry. You could see he was jacked. That was clearly not fake. He was still the real deal, but had to make it look like he was even better than he already was just for that little bit of extra fame. A lot of people agreed in the comments. It makes no sense. He had an awesome physique and no need for any of this. Maybe fake, but he was honestly strong. He was. And I bet that kind of stuff is all over TikTok and Instagram, even in 2025. We could even talk about steroids in both males and females. My opinion, at least, I don't even really care if they take steroids if they fully admit it. If you want to get as big as you possibly can, literally go past your genetic limit and also take years off of your life because of it, that's your decision. And there are many bodybuilders who openly admit it, and I'm completely fine with that. But then you have many people who don't admit it and say that they're 100% natural and then try to sell you everything under the sun to make you think that you could look like them when you will never actually make it. You'll just end up lining their pockets with money. We have another comment from one of you guys that says something similar, especially in the health and fitness side of social media, all that pre-workout crap and protein garbage promoted by those jacked up guys. They didn't get jacked because of the supplements. They are all on steroids and testosterone injections. Because we're getting to a point in social media where people are actually showing natural transformations, whether it be a couple months or a couple years of lifting, and because they don't look absolutely jacked out of their mind, people think that they didn't put in the work, because now we're so programmed to think that everybody who is on PEDs are also 100% natural, so those transformations anybody would be able to do, and that's just not the case.
Dude, Pineapple Brett on Snapchat is a government experiment. I like to look at bodybuilding stories and like creators on Snapchat to see their journey and their diets and, meticulous things during their workout, right? And one of which is James English, IFBB Pro, but he has these restrictions on Snapchat because he posts his body, and sometimes Snapchat blocks it from a certain audience because, he has less clothes on because bodybuilding. One of these run-ins, he came across Pineapple Brett. So I check her out on my own. I was like, oh, I've seen her before. That Snapchat account is literally the epitome of lust, like literally trying to beat lust. That woman is married, and like she'll do some shit like she's trying to walk to the store or some shit. And it literally just a whole bunch of peach emoji. It's crazy how everybody else's shit on Snapchat gets restricted by her shit. Even though everybody knows what she's doing, Snapchat's gonna let that fly by because whether we like it or not, big social media companies, they love that lust being pushed without you realizing it.
That can be a whole nother topic for a different video, because all the lust and that kind of stuff at the end of the day drives even more engagement, and they'll bend the rules as much as possible to not have full-on adult content when their terms of service says they're not allowed to, but it's very pick and choose on what they decide to block and not block. But one of the other avenues that I've seen across all social media now is that there are many fitness influencers that are just there barely working out, but do the exact same thing he was talking about, show off their body to funnel their audience to an OF account. Basically has nothing to do with fitness in the first place, but that's become an increasing subsection in the genre right now. And with how popular OF has gotten in the past 5 years or so, it really only seems to be increasing. But we're going to finish off this video with at least somebody having consequences, trying to trick their audience and make a whole ton of money, and hopefully we'll see more of this in the future.
$400,000. That is how much a Dallas influencer, Brittany Dawn, is being ordered to pay in a recent settlement of a lawsuit. Brittany Dawn, she was a fitness influencer, and she was selling allegedly customized meal plans. Now, the problem with this is the meal plans were not actually customized. So she was marketing it as a customized meal plan, but there was actually a generic meal plan that all of her customers were getting. She was basically being charged with having deceptive practices, which is absolutely not okay. She was also charging a shipping fee for products that were being delivered virtually online, because these were actually digital products, and she was charging that extra fee. The online programs cost anywhere between like $92 to $300. And she was also claiming to be able to help people that have eating disorders. And you cannot do this unless you actually have the proper training and credentials to do that.
So lies upon lies upon lies for a copy and paste meal plan that was at least $100. I'm glad there's at least some consequences owing $400,000 to show other people in the industry that you're not allowed to just blatantly lie and deceive all of your fans, and basically nothing would happen other than the possible backlash you'd get on social media. But it doesn't matter if you made a couple $1,000,000, you could disappear, you're done. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.